What if Sasha Banks had escaped at the final second and left WrestleMania 32 holding the championship that was meant to define a new era? The documented setting is April 3rd, 2016, at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. WWE promoted 101,763 attendees. Earlier, Lita unveiled a new women's championship to replace the Divas Championship. Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky were all making their WrestleMania debuts after disputed contender matches produced this triple threat. Sasha also carried proven championship credentials from her 2015 NXT title victory over Charlotte, Becky, and Bayley. Here is the exact cutoff. Immediately before Becky Lynch submitted to Charlotte's figure eight, with Ric Flair restraining Sasha at ringside. In reality, Becky tapped and Charlotte won. Our timeline becomes fictional now. Sasha kicks free, dives through the ropes, and crashes into the bridge of the hold. Becky rolls away. Sasha drives Charlotte into the mat, traps her in the Banks statement, and makes the defending champion submit. On the first hypothetical Raw, Sasha celebrates, but the booking immediately identifies two debts. Becky says Sasha won through an opening Becky created. Charlotte argues that one submission cannot erase months of dominance. Sasha does not dodge either claim. Her imagined promo is summarized, not quoted. Becky receives the first defense, while Charlotte must earn the next opportunity without Ric deciding the outcome. The next 4 hypothetical weeks keep Becky and Sasha apart physically. Becky defeats escalating opponents, while Sasha studies from commentary distance, establishing that this is not charity. Charlotte tries to insert herself, but interfering would move her to the back of the line. The restraint matters. All 3 women now pursue leverage through wins, rather than endless ambushes, making the new championship feel governed by competitive consequences. At the fictional May special event, Becky attacks Sasha's arm to weaken the Banks statement. Sasha responds by targeting Becky's back, giving every exchange a purpose. Becky finally catches the disarm her, but Sasha rolls through, stacks Becky's shoulders, and survives the pinning scramble. The champion wins clean, without diminishing Becky. Sasha proved adaptable, while Becky came within one transition of taking the title. Charlotte's hypothetical path is a 4-woman contenders tournament. The story is not that she suddenly becomes sympathetic. It is that dependence on outside help has become strategically useless. In the final, Ric approaches the apron, but Charlotte orders him away and defeats Becky clean. That decision gives Charlotte her strongest possible argument. Sasha submitted her once, yet has never defeated this more self-reliant version. The fictional June title match bars Ric from ringside. Charlotte controls the opening with strength and attacks Sasha's knee, threatening the champion's balance. Sasha cannot overpower her, so she turns Charlotte's second figure eight attempt into a small package escape, then attacks the back and applies the Banks statement. Charlotte reaches once, gets dragged to center, and submits. Sasha has now answered both original challengers without outside interference. Now, the hypothetical reign changes Sasha, not into a villain, but into a champion convinced pressure is where she performs best. She announces a weekly non-title open challenge, reasoning that contenders should prove they can beat her before receiving championship matches. It sounds fearless. It is also unnecessary risk. That distinction sets up the arc's major reversal. Confidence has begun outrunning preparation. The open challenge brings Bayley from NXT into this hypothetical timeline earlier than in reality. Sasha recognizes a former rival and treats the bout like an exhibition. Bayley treats it like survival. She absorbs Sasha's shortcuts to the finish, escapes the submission, and lands her decisive belly-to-belly throw for a clean non-title pin. The champion's confidence has produced a challenger she cannot dismiss. Sasha's hypothetical response determines whether the story collapses into another personal feud. She does not attack Bayley or demand the loss vanish. Her imagined address is summarized. Bayley earned a championship match at the Summer Stadium event, but one surprise will not define the reign. Bayley's answer is equally direct in narration. She intends to prove familiarity with Sasha is an advantage, not nostalgia. The summer build uses parallel hypothetical training rather than repetitive brawls. Bayley practices counters to Sasha's backstabber and submission entries. Sasha drills escapes from the belly-to-belly and stops accepting open challenges. Each wins a television tune-up using the other's favorite transition, showing active study. Their history is acknowledged, but the championship changes the equation. Affection cannot replace scouting, and familiarity cuts both ways. At the fictional Summer Stadium event, Bayley repeatedly counters Sasha's first plan. The earlier upset appears ready to repeat when Bayley launches the belly-to-belly. This time, Sasha shifts her weight, lands behind, and immediately transitions into the Banks statement. Bayley nearly reaches the ropes before Sasha rolls them back to center. Bayley submits. Sasha retains because she learned from defeat, the precise quality her first reign needed to establish. The hypothetical aftermath avoids resetting everyone. Sasha remains champion, now validated by clean victories and adaptation. Bayley leaves with main roster credibility from pinning her before the rematch. Charlotte begins rebuilding as an independent competitor, rather than repeating the same interference. Becky wins a Contenders Eliminator earlier that night, placing the woman Sasha narrowly pinned in May back at the front of the line. This rewrite does not claim Sasha's WrestleMania victory happened. It asks what that hypothetical win could have built. An inaugural champion tested by every unresolved rival. A Becky protected through narrow defeat. A Charlotte forced to evolve. And a Bayley elevated by one consequential upset. The next chapter is Sasha versus Becky again, but now the title carries a lineage created through choices, losses, and earned responses.